Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. This is episode 12, Inside the Numbers. I'm Hunter Aschenbrenner, alongside Jake Auerbach. Today, we're going to be talking with a very special guest momentarily, and then after we'll come back, we'll talk about the Knicks blowout victory on Monday night, and then talk a little bit about the Mets.
Big night last night for the Knicks, and obviously super excited to get into this interview. So should be fun.
Yep, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to be joined by MLB.com Yankees beat reporter Bryan Hoch. Bryan, thank you for joining us, I assume from Yankee Stadium as we get set for tonight's game. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Sure, guys. What's on your mind? Let's talk some baseball.
Yeah, so we'll get into the Yankees, but before we do, I want to just ask, how did you get to this point where you're obviously one of the main beat reporters for the New York Yankees and working for MLB.com?
Well, long story short, I started when I was in high school. I knew that I loved writing about baseball and I wanted to do something that was in the game. And I was fortunate to come along when the internet was just starting out. So we're talking dial-up internet, AOL, all that. And I started what today you'd call a blog, but we didn't even have that term back then. It was a website. Believe it or not, my favorite team at the time was the Mets. So I was writing a lot about the Mets at that time. And the Mets reached out to me and said, "Hey, we've seen what you're doing online. And if you're interested in a summer internship, we'd be happy to have you." And so I was 18 years old. I said, absolutely. And got to be in the press box. It was 2000. So the Mets went to the World Series against the Yankees and lost. So I got to be there for all of that. And once I got that foot in the door, I just never wanted to let it close. So I went to college. I pursued journalism, kept writing, kept hoping for opportunities somewhere in baseball. And I was freelancing for MLB.com, basically filling in when road teams would come in and the reporters wouldn't be there. So I'd cover the Reds or the Cardinals, or I'd do some Yankees or some Mets. And was just fortunate to be in the right place at the right time when the Yankee beat came open. And, they took it in 2007 and I haven't looked back. So I get to come here every day almost and cover the Yankees and see a lot of cool stuff.
It's great. All right, so now with our limited time, I want to shift to the Yankees. Obviously, they've won 5 straight series. They're absolutely rolling right now. Just swept the Orioles. Tonight, they're taking on the Rangers. What is the feeling within around the entire team, because they're absolutely rolling right now?
Yeah, I think they feel like they're living up to their potential. And this was a whole big thing last year with the run it back idea. They thought they were good enough to win the World Series last year. And they thought that if they brought back a lot of those same pieces, that the outcome could be different. And I know that there was a lot of people who didn't think that was true and thought that they weren't good enough last year, but this team is kind of playing on a mission. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder. I think that they were very upset about how last year went, how it went down to the wire, how they wound up in that wild card series by losing the tiebreaker to Toronto. And I feel like last night is a perfect example of a game they'd already beat Baltimore 3 straight. Last year, I feel like, is a game where that team could have relaxed a little bit. And if you win, great. If you don't, that's okay. We took 3 out of 4. I feel like this Yankee team, more than any I can really remember, wants to put the foot down on the gas pedal here and keep going, keep getting those. And I think that a lot of that comes from Aaron Judge, and a lot of it comes from being upset about how last year ended. And they really did think they had a good enough team. And right now, guys, I'm looking at this. Tarek Skubal went down the other day for Detroit. Who's going to stop the Yankees in the American League? I think that they are the favorite, the clear favorite to go to the World Series. And then there is some tougher competition in the National League, but you look around this AL, I don't know who's going to stop the Yanks.
Yeah, the only other team that's really rolling right now is Tampa. But when you get down to October, how much are they really scared of the Rays with their gritty style of baseball? But you said about the wild card last year and then last night, the guy who started both those games was obviously Cam Schlittler. Him and Ben Rice coming out of nowhere, and I know obviously Ben Rice is down for a couple days right now with the hand injury. They've come out of nowhere and become superstars. How does that happen? I know Ben Rice a couple years ago, he was kind of rolling in the minors, but then Schlittler this time last year, we had no idea who he was.
Rice, I think, came up through the system, and you could always tell that he was going to hit. The question was he going to be able to catch enough, or would he have to move to first base? And I think that has kind of been answered at this point. They don't really mess around with him too much as a catcher anymore. There's no need to, but he just crushes the ball, and you saw that last year. He wasn't getting rewarded for a lot of that hard contact. Now this year it has balanced out, and he is a legit force. I think that this little hand injury aside, he's got to be on the short list to start at first base in the All-Star game. I think he really has taken the next step in his development. He's just continued to get better and better the more I've seen him. He's smart. He has a very disciplined approach, and I think that he's going to have a long, impressive big league career. As for Schlittler, he really showed me a lot last year, coming up in the second half, having that start against Boston. And look, I was wrong. I said that game against Boston in the wild card, that could be the game of his career. No, it was just the kind of introduction to who he is and what he can do in this game, because he has continued to take the next step here. And this is a guy who was a 7th-round pick, not really a heralded talent, came out of the Northeast. But, man, what a find. And both those guys signed by the same scout up there in New England. Matt Hyde is really one of the Yankees MVPs right now for finding Ben Rice and Cam Schlittler. He's done a great job.
Yeah. So obviously, offense is rolling right now, and you're even without one of the best hitters in Giancarlo Stanton, who went down about a week or two ago with a calf injury. Do you know what the timeline is on that? When we'll see him back in the Yankees lineup, and kind of how he's going to fit back into this lineup when he comes back?
I think it's going to be a little bit of a while here, because we were talking to Aaron Boone today. He said that Stanton hasn't even begun running yet. I'm still feeling it a little bit in that calf. So until he's actually out there jogging a little bit, running bases, you want to take those slow, because I know I've had calf injuries, and you think you're healed, and then you start to run, and then it pops again. So it can be a tricky injury, especially, look, he's 36 going on 37. It's not like we've never seen Stanton get hurt before. It is kind of part of his deal. And there's nothing that he's doing wrong about it. It just, he can't stay on the field for a full 162. So I think that you weren't expecting that out of him. They want to get him right, because really with Stanton, the goal is for him to be ready in September and October, when the games matter the most. That's where he makes his money. That's where he's really, really impactful. And in the meantime, it gives Jason Dominguez an opportunity to get some playing time here. He's going to have some runway, and he can get some at-bats, because he deserves to get those playing time in the big leagues. He did really well in spring training. He accepted it going down to the minors, but he's proving more and more every day that he belongs up here.
Yeah, Stanton's always with those lower body injuries. There's no point in rushing it now, especially with how well the offensive's clicking. The two other superstars on the IL right now, with Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, I know both are making rehab starts tonight. Rodon is likely to come back the next turn in the rotation. What is the timeline with Cole? Is it 2, 3 rehab starts left? And when will we see 45 back in the Bronx?
Soon, very soon, assuming everything continues the way it's going. And he's been very lucky, because Tommy John can have a few bumps in the road, as you guys I'm sure know. But he has had a pretty smooth and flawless recovery. So, yeah, he is going tonight for Hudson Valley. And I think you're probably looking at 3. They've been talking about late May, early June all along for Cole. And so he's right on that timetable. But, yeah, Rodon, this is his final checkpoint. If tonight goes well, I expect his next start will be in the big leagues. And then you can just take Elmer Rodriguez out, whether tonight goes great, whether it doesn't go great, send him back down to the minors, and it'll be Carlos Rodon next turn against Milwaukee.
Yeah,
that's good to hear. So another injury-related issue or topic, Anthony Volpe. So he started the year down in the minors on a rehab assignment, and he's pretty much done with that rehab assignment, and he was optioned back down to AAA. So for now, Jose Caballero is the everyday shortstop. So what are your thoughts on that, and when can we see Volpe back in the MLB?
I feel like it's the kind of move, and this speaks to the urgency that I was talking about earlier, where this team, I feel like last year, that's a move where the Yankees said Volpe would be their shortstop, and he would have come back and been their shortstop. And Luis Gil would still be in the rotation, and they would probably still have Randall Grichuk on the bench. And I feel like this year, this team really does seem to be on a mission, and they're not going to leave anything on the table. I feel like in past years, the Yankees have kind of almost set it on cruise control at times and been like, all right, let's win our 92 plus games and we'll get in the playoffs. And then whatever happens, we'll see. We'll just try to be hot at the right time. And I feel like that mindset has really changed this year. And I think a lot of it is being eliminated last year by Toronto. I think that this team has taken that to heart and they don't want to make that mistake again. They know that the window is not going to stay open forever. Aaron Judge is not going to be an MVP type player forever. Garrett Cole just had a significant injury and is coming back off that, but who really knows what he's going to be coming back? And so I think they just don't want to leave this and be looking back and saying, man, if we had just tried a little bit harder, maybe they would have come out differently. And so, it's a tough break for Volpe. He's going to have to earn his way back up to the big leagues. And right now he's competing against not just Jose Caballero, but he's got to compete against Oswaldo Cabrera, who's trying to get back up here. He's trying, George Lombard Jr. is trying to get up here for the first time. So I don't think they're going to hand this to Volpe. I think that you will see him again at some point, but I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah. So say hypothetically, if Caballero went down in 3 weeks with an injury, do you think it would be based off whoever performs best out of those three down in the minors, or would they just go to Volpe? Because it's strange not seeing Volpe get called up because he's kind of been the guy that Cashman and Boone have really protected since he's been called up originally.
For sure. And I think it would depend on how, in that hypothetical, it depends on how Volpe is doing at that time. I mean, if he's playing well and making the plays he needs to make in the field, then yeah, he would probably be the guy, because in that case, you're looking for a starting shortstop. And I don't think they view Cabrera as a starting shortstop. He's more of a utility guy. And I don't think they would want to rush Lombard up here if he wasn't going to stay. And so, yeah, I think Volpe would be that guy in that hypothetical. But like I said, he's going to have to earn that. And those starts, Caballero has played out of his mind. He's been really good. I don't know if the offense is going to continue this way for him, but the defense has been so much better than I expected. If you look at some of those advanced metrics, I think he's got 7 defensive runs saved. That's far and away better than what the Rays had said he was going to be coming in here. And that was the one knock I heard on him when they traded for him, was that don't play him at shortstop because he's going to hurt you defensively. Whatever he's done over the offseason to get ready for this opportunity, he's not hurting them at all.
No. Yeah, and then I've got just a couple of quick hitters that I don't need a huge explanation on. You mentioned, obviously, Lombard, Elmer Rodriguez making his second start with the upcomers through the minors. How many this season of George Lombard, Spencer Jones, or Carlos Legrand make their MLB debuts, and who, if them?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with all three. All three of them.
Wow.
You see all three of them at some point this year. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but I think it would be fun. I definitely think Spencer Jones has earned it. Legrand, I see him as a bullpen piece in the second half. I think he's going to be an impact on this team. And Lombard, I could see him getting up in September and getting a taste. If it was back in the day when they were allowed to call up 15 guys in September, I would say absolutely. They'll only have 2 spots, but I think Lombard's going to earn it.
Okay. And then another youngster who has already been performing since he got called back up. Does Jason Dominguez stick in the major leagues when Stanton gets back? Or is it just the case of they don't have an everyday spot for him?
Yeah, that's the tough thing, because you don't want him to sit on the bench. They did that last year in the second half, and I don't think it served him well or them really well. He's better than just a pinch runner. And so that's kind of why I want to see him continue to take the next step defensively, because the one thing he can do that Stanton can't do is really play the field. You don't want Stanton running around out there in the outfield as little as possible, really, because he is prone to injuries, as we know. And so I think that when Aaron Boone starts to play Dominguez more in the outfield, I know he's worked hard on it. He's still probably below average defensively. He's got to take that next step so he won't hurt you out there, because that really is where he can have his value. He's proving to me that he can hit left-handed pitching. That I think is very important. That's been one knock against him in his game. Now he's got to clean up the defense.
So one more here. We touched on them a bit earlier, Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon. So when they both come back to the major league level, who do you see moving back to the bullpen, who is currently in the rotation, or do you see them potentially moving to their six-man rotation?
I don't see a six. What I think they're going to do is they're going to do a trade with Elmer and move him down to AAA. You flip flop that for Rodon, and then it gets tricky with Cole. And I think the odd man out is going to wind up being Ryan Weathers. I think you move him to back to the bullpen, and then you're going to have a really stacked rotation. You're going to have Cole, you're going to have Fried, you're going to have Rodon. Will Warren, I think, has done enough to stick around, and then of course Cam Schlittler. And so that starting five really is the reason why I'm saying who is going to stop the Yankees this year in the American League. I think that they are on a straight path right toward the World Series. And of course, there is tough competition in the NL, and the Dodgers are always looming. But guys, I think that 2009 was a long time ago, and the Yankees, more than I have thought in recent memory, are primed to take a run at that title here this year. And that's including 2024 when they did get to the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan Weathers has been amazing. It's just they probably want to limit his innings with the injuries, and then they don't have a spot.
Right. I think that the injuries is also a thing there. He's never had a really full season, so I think they want to be protective. And I think that in relief, he could be lights out. And so they're going to have a lot of big arms, especially if we're talking about a Legrand that you maybe have come out of the bullpen. I remember in 2007, when they brought up Jobber Chamberlain in August, and he was just lightning, electric, and it was almost like a get out of inning free card for Joe Torre at that time. I think Legrand could be that kind of impact arm out of the bullpen for Aaron Boone.
Yeah, and then one last thing before we let you go. Not current Yankees. Obviously, yesterday, the late, great John Sterling passed away. Do you have any personal favorite stories with John Sterling? And I'd love to hear them if you do.
I have so many John Sterling stories, and just the funny. It was funny. He was warm, caring. I think that you're kind of putting me on the spot, and I want to tell like 20 different stories, but I think you're going to have me back on the podcast again, and then maybe I'll tell my favorite Sterling stories next time.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go Yankees, and hopefully we'll have you on again in the future.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having
me. All right. Thanks a lot to Bryan Hoch for joining us. That was awesome to talk Yankees baseball with an absolute awesome beat reporter. And yeah, so another amazing guest. We should have another one next week, but I want to get into the Knicks now.
Yeah, so big win last night, following up a dominant end to the series against the Hawks. Picking up right where we left off. Everyone was clicking. Everyone was clicking. Everyone looked good, especially Jalen Brunson. He caught fire. He just was making everything, it seemed like. I mean, everyone was clicking. Offense, defense, Sixers looked off. It's a great game one and great signs for the rest of the series and going forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, coming off that 51-point absolute obliteration of the Hawks down in Atlanta. The Knicks had a couple days off. Obviously, we were watching closely the end of that Philly-Boston series. I preferred Boston, but Philly, obviously, I think we can still beat, and we definitely can based off last night. Philly was on short rest, so I expected the Knicks to have an upper hand in this one, but they won by 39 points. Philly had no answer, and look, they were tired last night coming off of a Game 7. It's not like, but what happened last night, it's not much isn't gonna change. Like Joel Embiid is still not gonna be able to defend at a high level because he can't move. Tyrese Maxey or the entire Knicks defense is still gonna be lights out like they were in that Atlanta series. The defensive intensity continued, and it happened a lot. Noah Eagle said last night a lot on the broadcast. The Knicks are opportunistic. They get incredible defense. They turn into fast break points. They turn into good looks. And that's who you see they completely demolish teams like they did with Philly last night by 39.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern coming into the series was guarding Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And, I mean, we saw in the Hawks series in the first 3 games, CJ McCollum pretty much did whatever he wanted to. We didn't really have an answer for him on defense. You know, it was Brunson was guarding him a little bit, and he didn't have an answer. OG and McHale and Josh Hart all had their looks at him. And no one really had an answer for him in the first 3 games of the series, and then they clicked. But if McCollum was doing that to the Knicks defense, what would Tyrese Maxey do? He is so athletic
and he was silent last night.
And he was completely shut down tonight, which is a great sign moving forward in the series. I think he's going to be better going forward in the rest of the series. He's too good of a player to be shut down like that again, but it's a really encouraging sign that they can guard him.
Yeah, after game 3, something clicked within that team. They changed the way they play. We talked about it with Alex Day. They played through Cat and then through OG, but Jalen still got his looks. Jalen was 12 for 18 last night, 35 points, only 8 free throws, while Embiid is flopping all over the court. But, it's the defense or the offense is just flowing now, and it's just something clicked within that locker room. They found something. They came together. They've been playing gorgeous basketball. They're playing their best they have in these last 2 years at the perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, they look really good. But one thing I really want to quickly bring up is Joel Embiid and how he plays. I've always been a critic of guys that foul bait, guys that just play their entire game just to get to the line. And I've always been critical of Jalen Brunson, to be honest. As a non-basketball fanatic, I've been critical of how he plays. I don't like it. I think he's a little soft. I think he just tries to always, not soft, but always tries to get to the line. He's always foul baiting. I don't like it. But after watching Joel Embiid last night, there's a different level to it. He's not even trying to score. He's literally just running into the guys. It just isn't basketball.
It's not ethical basketball.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, Jalen Brunson is a foul baiter. That's 1,000%. Joel Embiid is a flopper. Brunson is 6'1", and Embiid is 7'1", and top 5 most talent on the entire planet. It's the difference between Brunson and Embiid. Brunson, you'll see try and foul bait, but he's always trying to get an and one. Embiid, he's just throwing his body on the ground, never trying to actually score. Just get to the line at all costs. That's what Embiid's trying to do. It's ridiculous to watch, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's making me laugh. No, it's not fun to watch. How does he even enjoy it? He literally just he
gets hurt all the time. I don't know why he doesn't stop.
Hurt by it, but I saw one ridiculous play last night. He faked 3 shots in a row, not even trying to go for the shot. Gets the guy to jump up and just jumps right into him. It's not fun. How does he enjoy it?
Yeah, but back to the actual adjustments. The guy, obviously, that was all over Tyrese Maxey last night was Mikal Bridges. Hats off to him. After, I'm pretty sure it was game 3 or game 4. I'm not sure. He had 0 points. He was benched down the stretch. Yeah, he was bad. He looked lost, out of it. He was tearing up during media. It was bad, and it was horrible to watch. And then in game 6 versus Atlanta, when they killed them, he had 24 points. He was amazing. Playing aggressive basketball. Last night, incredible defense, continuing to play aggressive on offense. That's the Mikal the Knicks traded for. That's the Mikal the Knicks got in the playoffs versus Boston last year, and that's the Mikal the Knicks need to not make the finals, because I think if they play the way they will be able to make the finals, but to go further and win the finals.
Yeah, I think Mikal is a key piece to this team. Obviously, there's still critics out there. Oh, they gave up 5 first-round picks for him, but those 5 first-round picks aren't doing anything. That 2035 first-round pick isn't helping us win the championship right now. So, I mean, that 2035 kid is 4 years old right now. That's not helping the team right now. So I don't really care. I just need Mikal to perform. And, I mean, something happened after Game 3 where it's good to see a player bounce like that. I mean, Game 3, he was just awful. I don't know what happened. He just had one of those nights. People have them. But it's really good to see him bounce back like that on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And speaking of the offensive side of the ball, with him, there's one play I want to highlight. So I don't know if you remember, after Game 4, I did this where I highlighted one specific play, and that seemed to click. I mean, after Game 4, something seemed to click, and the team just started to play. So I kind of saw something similar to that wasn't as crazy of a sequence, but McHale shot a 3. I don't remember exactly when in the game it was. McHale shot a 3, missed it. Josh Hart comes out of nowhere, grabs an offensive
Backs
rebound.
out to McHale, and he knocks down the 3.
Backs out to McHale in the corner, hits the 3-pointer. That's how you need to play in the playoffs. And if they can continue that intensity against this Philadelphia defense, they're going to walk through this series. They're going to walk through Philly and win this series in maybe 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, and the big thing with McHale that everyone criticizes is him not like attacking the rim and him fading away always. It wasn't anything crazy. They were already up 20 or 25. Pretty sure it was in the third. Karl Anthony Towns dished it down to McHale. He was on the block. There was nobody at the rim, and out of instinct, he goes to fade away, and then he stops and turns back and gets an easy layup. Like, McHale it's not even anything crazy. Just, I want to see him continuously attack the rim. But last series, on a broader note, everybody knew it. It was a Karl Anthony Towns series, and he dominated. It's why they won in the end. Last night, Karl Anthony Towns was amazing, but this series is going to be a Jalen Brunson series. They have nobody to stop him. VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre, you could throw anyone at him. He's going to cruise by them. And he did last night. He had 27 in the first half. During this series, keep playing through Brunson. If they get to the next series and play Detroit, it's going to be different. You're going to see one of the Thompson twins. That's not Brunson. But they need to keep letting Brunson go to work, create the offense in this series, and they'll keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, VJ Edgecombe is a talented, feisty defender, but he's not even close.
He's a rookie.
Brunson. I mean, he's not going to be able to. This 76ers defense was awful last night.
Horrible, and they don't have the depth to make up for it.
No, exactly. I mean, this is a Brunson series, like you just said. I expect him to have a huge series. He had a huge game last night, which is just great to see. But it's a really encouraging game one, really from every player. I didn't see one weakness last night that we really have to focus on doing better in game 2.
Yeah, I'll touch on that right now because I did see something. Right before we shift to the Mets to close this out, Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, they both picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter, or in the first half against Joel Embiid. The one
first
thing
quarter,
the Knicks,
they had 2 each.
Yeah, the one thing
Ariel
they need,
Hukporti was forced into the game.
Yeah, and he played well.
But
obviously
you don't. He's not.
You don't want him playing against Embiid in a long series.
Yeah, for sure.
The one thing they do need to fix, and Mitch and Kat need to be able to hold steady, not swipe, not jump when Embiid does those stupid pump fakes. Because Embiid will do the same thing. You go in the air, he's going to jump into you, he's going to the line for 2.
Yeah,
and if it happens multiple times, you're going back to the bench.
Exactly. If you try to get too aggressive, jump, make a play, and if you don't stick to your guts and just stay steady, stay with Embiid, and make a play at the end and stay patient, you're going to get baited into his foul. You're playing Embiid's game at that point. You can't fall into Embiid's
Exactly.
Trap.
Yep. So yeah,
that's definitely something.
That's about it that I can think of with this team. Yeah. They're fully playing up to what we thought they can. They're clicking at the right time. They're absolutely dominating teams. 4 straight games where there hasn't been any playoff stress, since past the first 5 minutes. That's it. And it's been cruise control since then. And they got to keep it up going into tomorrow night. They can't have that every series where they find a way to lose game 2. Go up 2-0 and go back to Philly and close them out. Don't do the gimmick where you lose game 2 and it's 1-1 and then you have to fight a series.
Yeah,
Win.
I mean, based on the years past, in the gimmick and whatever, tomorrow night feels like a night where Embiid or Maxey is just going to drop 45 and the Sixers are going to win. It's going to be a close game and then the Sixers are going to pull away.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this kind of feels different.
Exactly, because of how dominant they've been.
Exactly.
And how much this team has clicked since Game 3 of the Atlanta series. So now I want to close this out with some Mets talk. They've kind of gotten on a better roll in the past week or so. They are on a long West Coast road trip. They won 2 out of 3 versus the Angels to kick it off. They won the first versus the Colorado Rockies last night. Tonight's game got canceled or postponed. Obviously lesser opponents, but with the the hole the Mets have dug themselves in, they need to just win games no matter what. And the manager is safe, so that's not going to be a change that's coming.
I mean, the Mets. There's no lesser opponent when you're playing the Mets. They are the lesser opponent.
True.
This year.
Good point.
But you talk about the manager, Carlos Mendoza. This is not his fault. Pretty much everyone knows that. Look, I don't think he's a good manager. I think a change could be coming soon, and I wouldn't be mad if it does. But he's not a bad man. He's not. This is not his fault.
I don't look. I don't think it's ever the manager's fault, to be honest. Like Rob Thompson got fired. I don't know how much of it was his fault. Like Dave Dombrowski did nothing over the offseason. And then his team kind of stalled, but now a new voice in that locker room with Don Mattingly, they've started to go. Look, I don't think Mendoza's going to get fired. They've kind of said that he's safe and they're not going to make a change. They trust him. But with a team,
he's safe for now, but I think if
they go down 20 games under 500,
if they're 20 games under in the middle of June, I would be shocked if he makes it to July.
Oh yeah. But at this point, of course.
For right now, for the next couple of weeks, he's safe, I would say.
Yeah, I don't...
But we'll see.
It's not his fault. We know it's Stern's fault.
If they go out and lose 10 games in a row right now, I can't see him sticking around. That's the second straight losing streak.
Yeah, huge.
We'll see what happens. But it's tough on Mendoza because this isn't his team. He didn't build this roster.
They took his coaching staff.
Yeah, they took his whole coaching staff except him.
Yeah.
Which it's tough on him, and he's battling injuries. Obviously, you lose Juan Soto at the start of the year, and you got your superstar back. Nope, Lindor gone, and he's going to be gone for a little bit. I expect that to be sort of long term, so I don't know when he'll be back, but
yeah.
It's tough on him, and it's not his fault.
Yeah, so that's a nice. Yeah, that's a nice segue into this topic. Obviously, the two shortstops on the depth chart are injured now. Francisco Lindor, that calf injury, he's going to be down for a couple of months. They haven't said what grade it is. It's a significant calf strain. And then Ronnie Mauricio, you were kind of happy for him, he's getting his chance to actually show what he can do in the big leagues after the ACL tear in winter ball, and then he didn't really get any time last year because there wasn't a spot and he wasn't fully recovered. But he was given this opportunity to get runway at that shortstop position, and then he fractures his thumb. Yeah. And it's just that's the type of season it's been so far for the Mets, just a disaster, and that's just more injuries that are going to hurt this team.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, I think for the next couple of weeks, Bo Bichette will likely play shortstop.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably slide Beatty or Vientos over to third, if not the other at first base, until Polanco is back. I haven't heard anything on him. I have no clue what's happening with him.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything.
It's so weird what happened. And,
yeah.
I mean, Luis Robert seems like a phantom IL. I mean, I don't even know what happened to him, honestly.
Yeah.
He just kind of sat out for a couple days, and all of a sudden he's on IL. But So, I mean, you got Lindor, Polanco, and Robert on IL. It's tough. It's really
very
tough. Go.
And it's rough, especially when it's not that much of a talented roster in the first place.
No, yeah.
But the one big topic for the Mets, obviously the young players who they've been counted on to produce haven't so far in this year. But Mark Vientos over the last week has been on one of his monthly, week-long hot streaks. But the big one is Carson Bench. He's started to come around offensively, and he's continued to make amazing plays on defense. Look, Bench was a top prospect, had a rough first month, but he's starting to click, and that's huge for the future of this franchise.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the number is, but since the start of May, he has a 1 OPS at the plate, and then in the field, he's made 3 terrific diving catches. He had that one ridiculous one where Gary Cohen had a call of all time.
Oh yeah,
but that catch was ridiculous. Full airborne, crazy catch. He's going to be in contention for Gold Glove this year.
Oh yeah.
He's that good of a defender. And obviously him at the plate this last week or so, he's been on fire. He homered yesterday, which is great. But yeah, you like to see a young guy like that really flourish right now, and hopefully he can continue this throughout the rest of the season, especially when your other young guys that you're relying on, like Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez, have. I mean, Beatty has been awful since the start of the year. He's really struggled. Alvarez, it looked like this was finally the year where he was going to put everything together and be consistent. And the last 3 weeks, he just has hit a wall. He's been awful, and Luis Torrens might steal the starting job at this point.
And he got extended.
He's the best backup catcher in baseball, but is he even the backup at this point?
Exactly.
And then Mark Vientos, he's on a little bit of a hot streak right now. He hit 2 homers the other day. He thought he hit one yesterday.
Fell short.
Yeah, it was gone.
Reminded me of Josh Donaldson.
Yeah,
that was his specialty as a Yankee. He used to pimp every single fly out, and then it die well short of the wall.
Yeah, I mean Vientos didn't pimp it. He
thought it was gone though.
He thought it was gone. He got to second base and he was confused. He was like, gone?
Yeah.
But I mean Donaldson did a full bat flip and everything just for the ball to be 20 feet short.
Terrible.
Oh, that was funny. But I mean he's hot right now. We just need to see more consistency out of him. So I mean I'm rooting for him. Obviously, hopefully he does well. But I mean, when is it time for Brett Beatty? He just has not been good.
The thing is,
he can't hit.
You can put a time on it. Who's replacing him?
But who's replacing him? I think one
what
guy,
you rather play Vidal Brujan?
No, I think one guy you can highlight if Beatty's going to play every day at first base until Polanco comes back. Ryan Clifford. He's been hitting better. He started off the year terrible at AAA, but he's been better recently. I think it might be time to give him a shot, honestly. He's been the Mets' top prospect for a couple years. It might just be time.
Yeah. So, obviously, we talked Yankees with Bryan Hoch. They're starting another series against the Texas Rangers at home as they look to keep on rolling. It's going to be Jacob deGrom against Elmer Rodriguez, making his second career start against the exact same team. So they'll look to keep on rolling through the American League. The Mets going to keep their series going against the Rockies. And yeah, there's not much really to talk about with football-wise. Really a dead time in football until about June or July. That's when training camp, obviously, OTAs start to pick up and we get into the flow of things. But yeah, that's another amazing episode. Talk some Mets. The Knicks keep on rolling. Very excited to watch tomorrow night. And obviously a big thanks to Bryan Hoch for coming on and joining us.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. Bryan Hoch was great. One thing really quickly, NHL playoffs been just straight up electric so far.
Yeah.
Every single series, really besides the 2 sweeps, have been electric. Obviously, 2 nights ago at this point, the Colorado and Minnesota game, I don't know if you saw the final score. It was 9-6 Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was just...
That's crazy.
It was
playoff
nuts.
hockey.
It was just, I mean, Colorado went up 3-0, and then it was just... They brought it back. Minnesota brought it back. Then just kept going back and forth. It was 6-6 at one point. It was nuts. That series is going to be electric. It's 2 powerhouse offenses with questionable goaltending. So that's going to be an electric series to watch.
Yeah, and then, of course, a big night for the Rangers tonight, the draft lottery, as they hope and pray for Gavin McKenna.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Their best odds. So it's going to be
open pray.
Down in, at this point, 15 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll discuss that a bit on our next episode. Should just be me and Jake. And, yeah, we will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching.